It's time to center mental health in Omaha. At Community Alliance, we're building a new center at 72nd and Mercy Road so that anyone seeking help for their mental health can access the personalized care they need to flourish. Support our campaign at mentalhealthomaha.org.
Yeah. Things getting back more to normal up in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, it is. It's things are quieting down. A lot of national news, going on.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of attention. How's that affected you with all of that attention?
It's interesting because I think it kind of draws a line as far as like your interaction with people, and people. This is the type of thing where it draws a line in the sand. Like people are either one way or another. So, which is I think a good thing nowadays. I mean, you learn what people value pretty quick.
Yeah, it's all about progress, and we're becoming, definitely a lot more aware about things like that.
For sure. Where are you located?
I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've had our fair share of, of attention when it's come to racial issues and things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's you couldn't really get away from it, which I think is a good thing. People have to, change their mindsets on some stuff.
It shows that it's, it could be, doesn't matter if you're north or south. It doesn't matter. It's everywhere.
Right.
Has that inspired you to tackle that musically as well?
I mean, it's been throughout, Minneapolis, if you think about it, it's been since last summer, since things got pretty real here with that kind of stuff. And it inspired a few songs, inspired some stuff where it wasn't necessarily sugarcoating things. I was putting it all on my sleeve, and this is the way I feel about it. And I wrote a new song called "What You Say" that's going to be on the next album.
Oh.
And it's all about that. What you say, you have to believe in. There's no more hiding behind stuff, and what you say matters too.
Every bit of it does. That is incredibly true.
Yeah.
So how's it been this last year as far as like getting out? And you've been doing a lot of stuff online as far as performing.
Yeah, I have. Last fall, I put out my latest album, "The Fire and the Medicine." September 25th, it came out. And it was hard because normally it would be a lot of release shows and, trying to set up a little tour. But there was none of that. So I played one show with the band that I did the album with on my buddy's porch. We just played a neighborhood show, and that was it. And other than that, I've kind of been getting used to doing live streams. It would kind of fade in and out where I do live streams like weekly for a month or two, then take a break. And so that was interesting because that's just a different way of presenting music, because it's not necessarily a show, but it was really cathartic for myself, being able to just play music away with some sort of attention, some sort of outlet where someone will see it,
Yeah, that's so true. What type of venues have you been playing in Minneapolis?
I am fairly new to the area. I've been here almost 3 years. And so when I first moved here, I was doing a lot of open mics. And there's some great songwriter showcases and stuff. But there's also some great mid-level venues that I'm hoping to play once things start opening up, like the Turf Club or 7th Street Entry, which is on the side of the main room in First Avenue. Those are the big ones. But then there's all kinds of cool little venues, breweries, that kind of thing.
So how's the reception been with the Fire and the Medicine album? Have you been getting a lot of positive feedback with that?
Yeah. For me, it was kind of a milestone as far as seeing what I could do beyond myself. Because this was an album where I really took the time to promote it as well as I could with the money I had, and then also to get bigger players involved and someone to help me to produce the album. Because before it was always just I was doing it myself. I was, finding people to play on it, but it was more of like a self-induced thing. So this album, as far as the song selection and the way I went about it, was more professional, and I took it a little more serious because I wanted a bigger band sound for the album. And so I've been really happy with it. And I got some press attention, and locally, had some attention with some local, some media and radio plays. So that's been great.
And you got some big names in there. Greg Shute was with Mickey Hart. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, Greg was the catalyst really for this. I met Greg Shute through Nick Salisbury, who played bass on the album. And Nick Salisbury tours with some big names. He tours with Brian Fallon from the Gaslight Anthem and Ryan Bingham. And both him and Greg Shute are the touring band for Ryan Bingham. And some other local, bands, he plays with a ton of people around town. But so Nick Salisbury was the bass player, the in-house bass player for the Songwriter Showcase, where it's like a room where you just show up and there's a house band.
Cool.
And minus the drummer, it's really stripped down, and it's really geared toward original music. And so I met Nick through that, and it's been great. And then through Nick, I met Greg, who has his own studio. And so that's kind of how the album came about. At first, Greg was going to help me play drums on it and, use a studio, but he ended up being a key piece as far as like bouncing ideas off of. And so he ended up helping produce the album.
That's really cool. So how long did it take to record and then finally mix and get it out?
Yeah, the initial process was interesting because we had 2 straight days together as a band. With me, Greg, Nick, and then a multi-instrumentalist, Dan Schwartz, who plays all over the album. He plays all the slide, he plays banjo, he plays mandolin, all electric guitar.
That's amazing when somebody's a multi-instrumentalist like that. It's like, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, he was great. I'm glad he signed on for the album. And he'll be playing live shows with me, hopefully soon. Cool. But so the first 2 days was just tracking all the rhythm instruments, getting all those down, getting all the scratch tracks down. That was a solid 2 days. And then from then it was like, I'd say 4 or 5, maybe 6 months, overdubbing vocals and coming back and doing stuff and mixing and mastering. So it was a little less than a year process.
Yeah, that's about normal when you're working in a professional studio like that too.
Right.
And you recorded right there in Minneapolis, Bathtub Shrine Studios.
Yep. That's Greg. I think it's Boom Island Recording now. He changed the name, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and you could really tell some standout tracks. I like Eaten Alive. What's the story behind that? That's you get into about addiction and recovery.
Yeah, that's a really powerful song for me personally. Both my brothers struggle with addiction, and I lost one of my brothers to addiction.
Oh my God, sorry to hear that.
About 6 years ago now. And my other brother, Lucas, overcame his addiction, and he's now in recovery. And he actually is a recovery coach, and he works with people to get them through these hard times. And he's really outspoken, and I'm really proud of him because of that. But he wrote an article for a local newspaper in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, where he talks about his what he went through and how when you're addicted, it feels like being eaten alive. And he just had all this imagery, and I read it, and like the next day I just wrote the song. It just poured out of me. And and so I really wanted to include that on the album, and I love how it turned out. And then after that, being able to do this video where we included people he knew personally, and he got all these people involved that wanted to share their recovery and share pictures. And that just like brought it up a level, like where it's like, wow, like it made it so real and really hit home. For me, just seeing it put out there, in a different way was really cool. And I'm really thankful that people would want to, share their experience and celebrate, the recovery.
Yeah, it's a great video up on YouTube, so anybody check that out. It's just got all the pictures of the people who've really just struggled with this.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I mean, I just get so angry with, like, and that's more personal, like big pharma, and seeing how people can be really easily addicted. There's that point of no return. It just really can destroy lives and families and friends and people involved.
Absolutely.
Very,
Yeah,
very well done.
And it's one of those things where it's one of those diseases where it's such a personal thing, but there's so many people going through it, and I think it helped to show that yes, it's a horrible thing, but there are people that have gone through this rough patch and come out the other end, and it's never over, but there's good things to come.
Yeah. First time I heard about, a rocker getting involved with that, I met Joan Jett's guitarist, Ricky Byrd. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's very much into like a recovery group. And basically, he does a lot of charity stuff with that too, and visits a lot of facilities. Very, very good. Tattered and Torn is another great track that we see up on YouTube as well. That's very, very well done. What's the story behind getting that one together?
Yeah, so all of these videos that are on my YouTube page, I actually produced as well.
Oh wow! So you got a real visual sense as well, you're not just totally into music.
Yeah, definitely. I do video production as well, and so that was a kind of challenge when this album came out, was finding a way to do visual things that would draw attention to the song, and also when really people were locked down and you couldn't really get a production together of other people. So I was like, well, where can I find something where it's going to resonate with people and tie it into what's going on in the protests right now, tie it into, the history of protest and why that's important in this country. And really Tattered and Torn, that's what it's about, is just kind of fighting, like taking the idea of the American flag, which has been taken by certain groups and certain political sides, and turning it on its head, be like, what does it mean to be American? It doesn't mean this one, backwoods kind of way. What it means is like, to be American means to protest. It means to embrace all these different groups and ideas, and so I wanted to tie that in with a video. And so I found clips of the March on Selma with Dr. Martin Luther King, and that was really what got motivated me with the video edit, was finding those clips, and those public domain clips that you can use for free. So that was great.
Yeah, that's very big. Look at what's in public domain. So you actually edit these videos as well?
Yeah. There's a website. I just went through public domain videos and found the right clips, and I knew I wanted some protest stuff that I could use, and I had an idea. I wanted it to be older stuff, and I found this whole documentary about the Selma marches. They were just amazing video I had never seen, with like Pete Seeger and stuff. Yeah. And so that inspired me. And then being able to put in other symbols of like, some Native American stuff, some Sitting Bull, and things like that, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Your timing is really good with all of this stuff, with all the social justice that's really out there right now. It's really come full circle. So I mean, we definitely need that music now. That's definitely for sure.
Right.
So going back, where did you grow up, and how did you get inspired and get into music?
So I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Way up there, Upper Peninsula. Yeah, in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Oh. Yeah.
Wow, a little chilly up that way.
Yep. I grew up playing hockey up there, and and I didn't get into playing guitar and writing songs till about my senior year of high school. Kind of when my hockey career was fizzling out.
Yeah,
I was a really good hockey player, but I was always into art as a young kid, and illustration and sculpture kind of stuff. So I was always driven by the creative process. Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, it's just basically, it was probably always in you. So who did you listen to growing up, and then finally that came together for you? I know Bob Dylan was very big as you were growing up.
Yeah, Bob Dylan was big. I remember listening to Saturday Night Gold on the radio. A big album for me was when my dad got Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. He had the vinyl of that, and we used to play that over and over and over.
Yeah, I have so many Springsteen connections. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, so he was very big there. Outside of Jersey, Cleveland was one of the big markets for Bruce.
Yeah.
And I remember I started going to work at a drugstore, so I was basically like following along as we were watching, hearing about how he was putting Born in the USA together. It was like in the making for like 2.5, 3 years. And I didn't expect it to be as big as it became. So I always kind of wondered if Bruce himself knew it was going to be just like huge, all these singles off of it. And then I saw him later that year. I saw him in 1985.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
In Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was
I bet
massive.
that was amazing.
Packed their stadium
That was like
full.
That was when he was on a steady incline, like as far as popularity, like he really was gaining steam, right?
Yeah, he was already out there. I mean, he was out there for, really, he hit it with Born to Run. And he was really there, but really exploded 10 years after Born to Run.
Right.
It was just massive. So it's like, I've seen him a few times since then. I saw him at the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show when they opened it up in 95.
Yeah.
Had really good seats. I was like 13th row. And then he was just with the E Street Band for the first time in a while because he just came off the Human, Touch, and a Lucky Town tour. So
yeah. I listened to, that was my initial introduction to Bruce Springsteen was the Born USA, but I really got into him in college, listened to his more stripped down stuff. Like Ghost of Tom Joe, that album. And
very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Those were huge as far as like the songwriter aesthetic and like what you can do just with, a voice and a guitar.
Yeah, it's just amazing how somebody like that he could fill a stadium, but then he could strip back down and people like you could be really inspired by that.
Yeah, because it's one thing to be the band leader, which is amazing, but when you're one dude trying to write songs, it's kind of hard to visualize that.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I do this just with, but yeah, he was, who else I'm trying to think who else I listened to growing up. And then also, like, when I got into writing songs, Neil Young was huge for me, too. Just kind of the way he approached music and the way he approached songwriting, and the way he talked about it,
Oh, just a gem, and that voice is so distinctive. Yeah, I could see how Neil Young can really inspire you, being up that close to Canada as well, I'm sure. There was a lot of that music. But yeah, have you thought about like just doing more of a stripped down? Have you done that more of a stripped down kind of record? Because this is you're on your 5th album now.
Yeah, I have, and that's kind of like the arc right now because, just financially doing the album like I did, getting so many players involved, like financially now, especially we can't do a bunch of tours. So my next album, I announced a couple weeks ago now, and it's going to be called Home, and it's basically going to be a bunch of home recordings and stuff I'm just going to record on my own, and that's going to be marked down. Some of it's going to be just one mic, one take, but it's going to be around 20-ish songs, so it's going to be
wow, you got a lot in the can in there,
and then a handful of new songs as well.
Nice. I did hear that. You posted that too. I came across that track.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Very, very nice. What's the story behind that one? Because that's got some really heavy lyrics in there. I walk this path alone. It's incredibly personal.
Yeah, it was. That song I wrote probably about 15 years ago. So it's an older song of mine. I wrote it kind of trying to figure out what I was doing with my life. I'd taken a year off college, and I was just kind of thinking about, different stuff in my past, and it's funny how you see glimpses of your childhood that you don't really remember, like a picture your mom took and she showed you or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of me, which I don't remember. I must have been maybe 2 or 3 years old, and we lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for I think a year. When my dad was going to actually he was going to classical school for classical guitar, and he was studying under a student of Andre Segovia's in Milwaukee.
Oh, nice.
And we lived in this little apartment, and I would just always stand at the window, I guess, and watch. So I wrote that song off of that picture that induced like just some ideas in my head, and but that was a song I don't really play a lot, and I just started playing it more because I've been going through old notebooks and stuff when I've been doing the live show, going on Instagram Live or whatever, because it's always fun to just kind of go through past stuff, but even more when you're doing it on a weekly basis, so you're not playing like the same set. You're trying to, fool yourself, and I think keep it interesting for yourself.
That is really, really awesome. It reminds me of Bruce again. That's how he's got notebooks and notebooks. I mean, that's old school. There's a cathartic experience there, I think.
Yeah, it's funny how some songs just kind of get left behind. Where you might have recorded them or you wrote them a few times, and then just depending on circumstances, it's not something you pick up along the way. So it's fun to go. I have old notebooks and stuff where I'll just kind of forget about a song, and then when you come back to it, it could have been boring or inspired initially, but then coming back to it where you're at now in life, it'll take on new meaning.
So what's that process for you like? Are you lyrics first, then music later, or is it's simultaneous?
Lately, it's been simultaneous, where I'll have a chord pattern or a chord change or a riff, or place the capo on the neck where it hasn't been before, that inspires something, and then that will inspire kind of like a melody. But there's no real right way to do it. It's just whatever comes time. You know what I mean? Sometimes like you'll be driving home and you'll just get an idea and you want to just get to something quick so it doesn't go away, and get it down.
That does. It happens in the car quite a bit. So yeah, you can find some beats from just simply the windshield wipers or something like that. It's like, I got to pull over and somehow record this.
And I think as I've done this for a little while now, I think I've really learned to follow that road when it happens, like just honor that inspiration and just believe in it.
Come unwrap some holiday magic this season in Denver, where the lights are brighter and the shopping is grander. The shows are more spectacular, the trees taller, the festivities merrier. So come for your holiday traditions or make some new ones with your friends and family in the Mile High City, where the season feels a whole lot more wonderful. Discover great hotels and more things to do at milehighholidays.com.
Order your holiday meal packs today at Hy-Vee and leave the cooking to us. Order traditional meals, small crowd meals, or a la carte meals. You can even customize your holiday meal by choosing from a variety of meats, sides, pies, and more. There's something for everyone with the Hy-Vee holiday meal packs. Order in-store or online at high-v.com. Happy holidays from Hy-Vee.
I think that's the biggest thing about creative work is like, it's coming from somewhere. You don't have to like overthink it. Just get it out and down the way it needs to be at that moment,
Now, when you're going to go back out and play live again, the guys who played on your album, are they going to join you live, or you just have another house live band?
Yeah, my plan is it's going to be, once I start playing, it's going to be a lot of different configurations, but it's going to be solo, it's going to be duo, then also full band with the same guys. Yeah, definitely.
And are you going to go outside of Minneapolis, go regionally or more nationwide?
I mean, I'm still working up to that. I think that's the goal. I'd love to do that. I think as a full band, that's a big, especially when you're just trying to get your music out there and get in front of people. That's the dream. I'd love to do that, and that's kind of the goal right now. I'm not sure when that'll happen. So maybe I'll start doing solo stuff, and then work my way up.
Much easier to travel alone, just you and the guitar, and that's, I'm sure it's way easier, obviously.
It is. It's way easier. But it's not, I mean, that's the thing. It's a different beast, like playing with a band. It's so much fun. Like you get tired of hearing yourself sometimes. It's always fun playing music, but being able to add those dynamics and just the different people's input, you can't beat that.
So getting into recording, how did that start for you, your first album, and how did you record that?
I recorded my first album when I was in college, actually, at Northern Michigan University.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where's Northern?
I had access to,
Where's Northern Michigan?
in Marquette, Michigan.
Okay, Marquette. Okay.
Yep, it's like right in the middle of the UP, the Peninsula.
That's its own TV market, Marquette.
So people get confused with Marquette University, which is in Wisconsin.
Right.
And then Marquette, Michigan, that's where Northern Michigan is. So two different things. Well, Marquette is a town, and Marquette University is, school.
Marquette. So WLUK. I'm in TV, so it's like, I think I kind of am familiar with that area.
What's that?
WLUK, is that a television station up there? Yeah.
I think so, like Channel 6 or something.
I think it is, yeah. I knew somebody who became a news director up there. So
You know the news director?
Yeah, a long time ago. I think he retired since, but yeah.
Okay.
He used to be a reporter I worked with, so that it kind of goes back a ways. I'm kind of familiar with a lot of different TV markets, being in TV for so many years.
Okay, so you were a TV reporter before?
No, I'm editor-producer, I say.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where did you work?
I've been doing it for over 3 decades. Mainly it's all been at CNN here in Atlanta.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's CNN in Atlanta.
Oh, great. Yeah. I've been known to do photojournalism, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. So as far as the editing software goes, what are you using to do your videos?
Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've been on Premiere Pro the last number of years. Before that, Final Cut.
Yeah, I've used Final Cut too.
And way before that was...
Final Cut's better for...
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Final Cut for the creative work. Definitely.
I miss Final Cut, but I heard Apple was changing it to Final Cut X, and it was not like user friendly for us.
Yeah, that's a different thing. You end up with stacks of video and audio.
Yeah, Premiere is Adobe's the whole Adobe suite is great. So just enjoy working with that.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Would you like to do a snippet of your latest song? Would you like to do some of Home?
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to do Home. Let me do...
whatever's most comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, let me do a song that'll be on the next album, though. I think I got my settings correct, so you'll be...
Sounds good.
Won't sound too weird.
I'm getting a little feedback from my voice, but...
Sound right?
That sounds good to me.
Simple minds around their hate, direction, systematic state. But I don't know if your jaw is broke. And I don't know why you think it's a joke. When you turn 18 and you're on your own, get a job and a car and a telephone, fighting through the madness every day. But the money men, they don't care what you say. 'Cause what you say, you gotta believe in. What you say is more than words. What you say could be treason. But all this talking without action seems absurd. Now the TV says truth doesn't pay. Pay the rent and the bills, stay out of our way. Shiny new cars and your supermodel sheen. When you're white and rich, life's a dream. So you go to the bar and you drink your sin. But the Kiss the Ring club won't let you in. Their eyes are watching a mouth full of lies. So you break the nose of a man twice your size. 'Cause what you say, you gotta believe in. What you say is more than words. What you say could be treason. But all this talking without action, all this bullshit and abstraction, all the social reaction, it's more than words.
Sweet. What type of guitar is that?
Oh, this is a low-end Martin guitar.
Yeah. Sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
Very, very well done. Excellent. So Jim Croce is another big influence. I was wanting to mention that because I've had AJ, his son, on this show.
Yeah, that's great.
And
I listened to Jim Croce. He was one of my dad's favorites. He was someone that he used to play. My dad used to play some of the songs, and I just love his songwriting. You know, the finger picking style is great.
Completely timeless, and the songs are just incredibly iconic. I've been trying to push AJ to get a hold of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and try to get him in there, but he'll get there, I think, eventually.
Go Ford for your next truck or SUV and find an easier way to buy with Woodhouse Ford today, and experience the convenience of buying with Woodhouse Ford. Lease a 2023 Ford Escape Active for $397 per month for 48 months and 7,500 miles per year. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Security deposit waived. Tax title license extra with approved credit. Expires 12/04/2023.
Yeah, that would be great. He's someone. It's interesting because he's someone that I really associate with just amazing, just guitar playing, but stuff that just fits the song. No frills, just like amazing, just solid chops. He's definitely someone that I've never even tried to cover just because of that.
And many have, including his son.
Yeah.
But with AJ, it's really interesting. He's got a lot of other influences beyond his dad, which kind of identifies himself. So, I mean, he's definitely into blues and jazz and all these other artists.
No, that's good, yeah.
Really multi-talented. He goes from guitar to piano and everything in between. He's just, an amazing live performer as well. So, it'd be great if you could meet him one day.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So, and going with Bob Dylan, though, do you really feel more of that inspiration being over there in Minnesota and just feeling more of the influence?
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the first things I saw when I moved here, I was driving downtown, and there's a huge Bob Dylan mural in downtown Minneapolis, and where it just kind of stops you in your tracks, and you're like, you understand like the history, and I don't think Bob Dylan lived in Minneapolis for long. I think he was enrolled in the University of Minnesota, but I don't think he went to one class. But just as a music town, Minneapolis has been great.
Yeah, Minneapolis can still basically claim him. They can definitely claim Prince. So definitely a lot of talent up that way. And I can understand it in that kind of an environment, just like a lot of these other markets, like Seattle has its own. So you can definitely feel that. What was the first Dylan song that really was etched in your mind and say, wow, this guy's just really wowing me?
I don't know if I have a memory of like the first Bob Dylan song I heard. It's interesting because like with Bob Dylan, it really depends where you start listening to him. Whether you're listening to some of the first recordings, or which I think that's where I came in with Dylan was some of just really stripped down acoustic stuff. Girl from North Country. I really like that song. But then just seeing the influence that he had and seeing how the idea of not just doing folk songs, but actually writing a song that you believe in based on your view of the world, that's where I think he really shaped popular music was like. And that's what I just saw. Like, and I when I first, started listening to Bob Dylan, I didn't realize that, but you kind of hear that in the early recordings where he's trying to figure himself out. He's trying to figure out what he's doing and what matters to him. And that's really why I like songwriting, where it can be a very individual thing. And that being said, there's still a lot of history around that and things you draw on from the past because you can't be in a bubble, I'm not sure what's the first Bob Dylan song I heard. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Blown in the Wind, I think for a lot of us in my generation, it was like, yeah, that's the iconic one. And then so much came after that. And stuff from Highway 61 Revisited, and then later on Infidels. It's just, what an amazing catalog.
Yeah, I think as far as popularity, I think it's probably like It Ain't Me, Babe, or something like that.
Yeah, I could see where he could be just incredibly inspirational to songwriting. Another one is Del Shannon. You were saying that's was a very big inspiration to you.
Who's that?
Del Shannon.
Yeah, that was one of my first musical experiences when, like, growing up and hearing. That was like his song "Runaway" was one of the first songs I remember, just as an early memory, hearing that on the radio. My parents listened to Saturday Night Gold on the radio and all the oldie songs and just crank them.
Yeah.
And that one, just a very like mournful kind of like angsty kind of feeling, walking in the rain, and like and you're feeling the pain and walking in the rain and wishing you were here by me. It's like,
oh yeah.
I was like, what? I was probably maybe 8 years old, but it caught me,
It does. With those very early songs, I just like, when you're on that age, it really does have a huge impression on you. I remember a lot of Elton John would have a big impression when you're around 7, 8 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, like, to think back when you were a kid, like, what caught your ear and why, it's...
Yeah. It's the resonance of it being very catchy, just really good music.
I think it's really just comes back to like what kind of music I like, where it's a unique voice, but it's also got a good groove, and catchy but original lyrics, stuff like that. I think that's kind of stuck with me.
So as far as friends and family go now, you get a lot of encouragement, obviously, being up there in Minnesota. Is your family, do they listen to your stuff and give you, support, critique, or whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. I had to ship my mom a bunch of my albums so she could hand them out to friends and stuff. And, yeah.
You got to be proud. I'm sure you had a good Mother's Day as well.
Definitely.
Excellent. Any other song you'd like to play?
Yeah, I could do another one. I'll do another song that's going to be on the new album. It's called Broken Window. When you're hungry, you haven't slept in a week, your feet are on the table, your feet are in the sink, cocaine will haunt you. Bourbon makes you think she'll be gone tomorrow. All you do is drink. Voices, they tell you your ego and those other guys staring out the window at the pink sunrise. Good is desire. When you're all alone, good is a broken window in a broken home. The sun is up, so you'll be drinking like the same old fool. A repeated pattern, devious tool. There's power in tomorrow. Power in a choice. Your dreams need intention. Your story needs a voice.
Excellent. So we'll have that new album out soon. That's going to be great when you're back out on the road. It sounds like it's going to be fantastic.
Thank you.
Excellent. I love your website. You got some merch on there. I don't know many people who have a merchandise a store on your website. How did that all come about?
Yeah, that's just me having time on my hands and figuring out how to do it myself. And I figured out how to do. The website is great too. The Banzo website, is great for musicians. But I've also figured out just that you can do on-demand merch where you don't have to buy a bunch of T-shirts.
Yeah.
And, and people can just order online, and it's great.
That's really, really cool. I like the different hats you have too. Like, shut up and listen to the song. That's you like to wear the hats.
Yeah.
It's all about getting that niche in the marketing and getting people to remember you. So you always have to have kind of a shtick.
Yeah, and a lot of songwriters, that's the thing is like, and so I was like, what kind of stuff can I put on a hat where if you're wearing it to a show and you're trying to get into the music, what's the one thing when you're? I remember seeing Mason Jennings at a venue in Des Moines, Iowa, and there was these girls behind me just talking. It's just him and the guitar, and I wish I would have had that hat just to turn around and be like, hey, if you want to be on your phones and talk, leave.
Yeah, music. It's a shame. I love technology and everything, but yeah, that can get out of hand. And just being in some noisy places. I saw AJ once. He played here locally, and I've seen him in venues where people were really paying attention. I saw him here locally, not too far from me, and there was so much noise. I mean, people were just not paying attention. I was like, are you kidding me? This is really good stuff. You got to listen.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why, it's fun to have different incarnations of how you can do the music, where you're not dependent on be like, okay, this is as loud as I can get, just doing solo acoustic thing. Because sometimes it's great to have that, but sometimes you want to, plug in and have a drum set there to make people really pay attention.
Totally. You got to be way louder than they are.
Yeah.
That's how concerts.
But there's a lot of great rooms though around the United States where they're built for listening rooms, and so there's good venues out there. So, but every once in a while you need a gentle reminder.
Yeah, totally. Excellent. Well, I really appreciate your time. I really had a great time, and these songs are fantastic. And thank you for stopping in.
Yeah, I'm glad I could do this. I appreciate it.
Really, really enjoyed that, and I hope I can actually get to see you here. Yeah,
I would love to. That's kind of on the dream list is to do a little United States tour. So that'd be great.
Definitely be great. Well, thank you so much. It's been fantastic. Have a good evening, and hear from you soon.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.